Well, I have an interesting thing. I started what I thought was recording and chatted on for a good few minutes, probably 7 or 8 minutes, that sort of order, and find that I was not recording. Do I therefore attempt to recover such? I take it as a blessing. For whatever reason, I wasn't recorded. So what I do record may be worth recording. And let me pause. Okay, it's going to be quite different. Thank you, Heavenly Father. The world is not our adversary. The world is created by God, and it's doing very well. It's providing a stage upon which there is good and evil, and we learn by the performance, and we even take part in the performance from time to time. Maybe your role to take a leading role in the performance. Head of some organization or political setup or business or whatever, religion. It may not be. It's not that you are needed for the creation. It's that you will benefit from a particular part in the creation. In that case you should be doing it then, that's great. That's just lovely, God has you blessed by this experience that he puts you in. But God doesn't need it to achieve anything in the creation. He can do that all himself. But the creation is there to give opportunity to bless his children. Life, all that he's created, everything that has life. So it's not that you can't take part in some organization, be it religion or firm or political setup or whatever. Local interest group, you can be. Whether you should be is determined by the degree to which it's going to truly bless you in a spiritual way. That might not be too obvious in some ways, but sometimes it might be fairly clear. And of course we can make mistakes. Of course. Uncertainty in everything here, isn't there? There seems to be. But be very clear, you are not needed here. I am not needed here in this world. This world has God running it, creating it, holding it in his mind, every detail. He's not needing our help. He delights in us taking part when it's a blessing to us. You may be at some stage where, and I don't mean an ultimate stage necessarily, but it might be your last swan song, of not needing any more from this world. Well, you can take a low profile. I suspect you are needing something from this world, or you'd have been taken. There's no point in you being here if you're not needing something from this world, because God can manage it fine. He has to actually adjust it so that it's perfect for your needs. And there's no need if you've already graduated. You see, I found a theory as to why there's no need for avatars. Not in the purity of the understanding of such. Because God most ably runs this place anyway. We might not think so. We might have a very childish view, if you like. Well, what I'm labelling it as childish anyway. That there's evil here and it needs to be conquered, and it's our job to do it. It might be our job to do it, in the sense that you need experience in this sort of thing and to learn by it. But you may have already learnt and understood enough already, and you'd rather not. Fine. No need. You can sit with God and watch the show until He takes you. I think He will have you take part in various things that He's doing here, because He loves you and loves doing things with you, and knows that that's a great pleasure to you, to know you're doing things with Him here in His creation. So He may well have you involved, and that's lovely. And it's not because you need more, other than while you're here, it's a rather lovely way of spending the time. So you can belong to these things. Don't feel you have to change them and so on. Encourage change that you think is a help. There's no need to be a particularly high profile person. Just a blessing. Just a blessing. And of course, now and again, there'll be people that identify you as an enemy and, may well cause you some discord. But if you keep your mind firmly on awareness of God with you and in you, and as actually running the show, you won't go wrong. By definition, you have the assurance of God, your Heavenly Dad. So you can choose to take part or choose not to, and that's fine. But it's not paramount. What is always paramount is what we found in our God, our Heavenly Dad. Him to be all-powerful, all-loving, simply wonderful. Our Dad. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Well, this is totally different to what I was going to hold forth on. Perhaps not totally different, but much more protective and much more in the trust of our Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad. So we find circumstances lead us to take part or not, and whether we do or not is not as important as keeping that awareness of the presence of God, our Dad. Being ever conscious of everything in relation to this relationship that we have. Because this is our treasure, isn't it? By His grace, His loving goodness, His wonderful self. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.